Hey everyone, it is March 25th. Here is your evening news rundown. To all those who have become paid subscribers over the past 24 hours, thank you so much for supporting my work. If you want to support my work, the easiest way to do so, click the button below, become a paid subscriber to my Substack today, or send a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. We're going to be doing an exclusive paid subscriber-only Q&A on Substack tonight, so I'm excited to be with you all there. With that, let's just jump right into it. The big news of the day is the fallout over this Yemeni Houthi group chat over a signal that the Trump administration continues to downplay. Caroline Leavitt, Pete Hegseth both downplayed the significance of the chat. And today, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, along with John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, testified in front of Congress, where both of them downplayed the significance of this chat once again. Tulsi Gabbard refused to answer whether or not she used her personal phone for this chat, when likely she did, given the fact that, according to Politico, Signal, the app that was used for this group chat, has been banned on most government phones. In addition, John Ratcliffe, when asked straight up by John Ossoff whether this was a big deal, a big mistake, he simply said one word: no. They refused to answer a number of questions, and Mark Warner, one of the leading senators on the committee, kind of called them out on their BS, saying, well, you claim nothing in the chat was classified, and yet you can't provide the text messages or any details to the committee. It was really a egg on the face type moment for the Trump administration, and we'll see whether or not heads roll as a result. A lot of people say Mike Waltz, the NSA National Security Advisor, may be on the chopping block. We don't know, but the former defense minister in the United Kingdom told Sky News that this group chat scandal wouldn't have happened in the United Kingdom, and essentially anyone who was responsible would have been fired immediately. Now, setting that aside, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, made a veiled threat at federal judges across the nation, saying that he and Congress could defund federal courts, could completely eliminate a district court if he wanted to. Now, theoretically, Congress decides whether or not the courts are funded, and Congress could theoretically eliminate a court, but Congress cannot eliminate a judgeship. And so, if Congress moves to eliminate federal courts around the nation because the federal court rules against Donald Trump, that may set a significant precedent moving forward and may backlog the courts, which are already significantly backlogged. According to the Miami Herald, an individual was deported to El Salvador, to that El Salvadorian prison where there are torture conditions, simply because of his tattoos. But interestingly here, and importantly, he actually had legal refugee status. And he had a background check. He interviewed with U.S. officials previously, had legal status, came back to the United States, was asked whether he had tattoos, said he did, lifted up his shirt. ICE agents saw his tattoos and immediately decided he was a gang member and deported him without any due process. In addition, Florida lawmakers are currently debating whether or not to amend child labor laws in the state to make it essentially easier for children to work past 11 p.m. and before 6:30 a.m. Now, the reason why they're doing this is one reason: because undocumented migrants previously held these jobs, and now the jobs are open. It's kind of one of those F around, find out moments. The jobs are open, and instead of just keeping the migrants in those roles and not deporting them because they're contributing to society, Florida is now considering amending child labor laws to allow 14-year-olds to work the night shift. In addition, American Oversight is now suing Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, John Ratcliffe, and others, saying that messaging via Signal is a violation of the Federal Records Act. This is the first lawsuit, but likely not the last. In addition, one of the plaintiffs suing over the dismantling of the CFPB has died, according to her husband. Her husband wants to take his late wife's place in the lawsuit to advocate for a $15,000 refund on her student loans. A very sad situation. Today, the Trump administration suffered another loss as a federal judge has issued a restraining order against Kari Lake and the Trump administration, barring the cancellation for Radio Free Europe. The decision to terminate, the judge says, has appeared to violate the law along with congressional intent. The Ninth Circuit has stayed a judge's order forcing the Trump administration to restart refugee admissions. The circuit will still require the administration to process refugees conditionally approved before January 20th, but new admissions can now be paused. So that happened as well. In addition, we're likely to see, the Trump administration has declared that it'll be invoking the state's secrets privilege in the Tren de Aragua case in Washington, D.C. It will not be providing any further information to Judge Boasberg. According to new polling released today by YouGov, more than 50% of the American public says that Donald Trump's, quote, Signalgate is, quote, very serious. 21% says somewhat serious. 8% says not very serious. And 5% say not at all serious. With that, that's all the news right now. I'm sure there'll be more news this afternoon or this evening. I'll provide it to you once we get it in. As always, if you want to support my work, click the button below, become a paid subscriber today. You'll get access to paid subscriber Q&As like the one we're going to have tonight. And as always, and if always, also send a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas, and I'll see you again this evening or in the morning.